Okay. You got everything set up with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get mine pulled up and then we can start. I'm gonna start with the starting message, and then you can continue off with whatever you want. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Mischief Managed. Today this is going to be a different episode from our fun and lighthearted episodes. I want to start it off by saying that any hate or any type of malicious intent, anything that can be seen as giving hate or judging others will not be tolerated, specifically in this episode. This episode is kind of to show that we too are real people. We're not just two voices in a screen. We have completely different lives. And we want people to know that despite everything that goes on in the internet and how people try to be happy, that there are things that go on and nobody wants to be alone in their fight. Anyone who wants to share their experiences in the chats are free to, and we will address them. I will address them on my live stream that I stream currently. I will address anything that people want to say, and any comments that you want to put after these are posted, you can completely do that, and we will respond with our best efforts. But just know that this episode is a more serious one, and no hate or judgment of any kind will be tolerated or allowed. For this is going to be a safe place. You want anything, Jax?
Um, don't hate because that's bad.
Yep. Okay, that's what I just
Yeah.
said.
I-
Um,
me
I'll
too. I was just you know,
I'll start off with what we were just talking about. Jax had mentioned something about him not wanting to be in a certain what's it called in a
eh,
certain fandom
community.
or community
Yeah. Yeah.
because of someone basically telling him how he was supposed to view things. And I just want to say that that is something that happens now, especially with cancel culture and a lot of things that goes on. People are not allowed to like certain creators because of past actions. For example, I was heavily into the Dream SMP. They were some of my comfort creators. I grew up watching Quackity. I found Wilbur's music and some of his videos during quarantine. And then eventually, when the SMP became a big thing, I eventually became attached to other streamers like Technoblade, Ronbu, and Tommy Innit. But quickly I was shot down for that and I was called racist and ableist and homophobic because of the fact that I had formed a connection with these people and their content because I felt as if I was no longer alone because their videos were ADHD friendly and I could understand. Some of them were not really afraid to talk about their problems and they were open about things that went on in their life, and I felt like I could finally have a comfort creator that I understood and related to. But I received a lot of hate for it, and people, in fact, bullied me and ridiculed me for it multiple times because of simply the people I liked to watch. Now, personally, I no longer watch it because of the fact that I let myself get bullied out of that fandom. But I feel like it is wrong to allow yourself or to bully others out of a fandom or something that they like because it is something that helps people. I was in a very low point in my life when I found these people, and they helped me out of it. They helped me just simply cope a little bit throughout that day. And I honestly feel like it is wrong. Ugh, is my audio input working? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I didn't see the input. But I honestly feel like it is wrong that people want to bully others for what they enjoy. I feel like it is wrong that people want to ridicule others and call them names for what they enjoy. I have noticed that cancel culture specifically has decided that they are going to take events and actions of people from years ago and bring it up now that they're famous and use that as a way to justify the hate. And I just feel like that is not okay because people should be held accountable for their actions at the moment it happens and not when it is convenient for others. Because if you continue to hold people accountable for their actions when it happens, people will most likely learn. But otherwise, if you let it sit and sit and sit until finally you've decided that it will benefit you or someone else by holding them accountable after years after it's happened, I feel like it's already sat too long and it's no longer makes sense to hold them accountable. For instance, let's say this is no one I know of, but let's say a YouTuber pushes their eyes back and makes fun of Asian cultures and things like that in 2018.
Oh,
But people
jeez.
decide to bring it up and, you know, like let's say this video had like at least maybe 100 views on it. Only 100 people saw it in 2018. And this YouTuber only had like 10 subscribers. But then in 2022, this YouTuber has, let's say, random number, 3.4 million subscribers, and their videos get millions of views every day. And people just now want to try and bring up that one video from 2018 because of something they don't agree. And I think it's just wrong because then you are not only taking away a safe place for others, but you are also creating problems within other communities by telling people who they can and cannot like and making assumptions on those people because of who they like. Like, for example, I had told someone that I liked Technoblade, Tommy Innit, and Wilbur Soot, and they proceeded to cuss at me and tell me that I was racist and homophobic and ableist because of who I liked.
I don't even know what ableist means.
Ableist means is basically like um it's against people who are disabled, basically.
Oh,
As a way to put it. I don't really know how to explain it. But I was called all of those rude names and basically ridiculed out of liking something. And
oh, gee.
it just created problems. And it bullied me out of liking fandoms that really brought a lot of comfort. Ezekiel just said, so what is the reason why people bully for just fun? Like, why? I mean, it just hurts the other people's life and it can even ruin it. Exactly. Bullying others for what they like is like, I don't know. In my opinion, I think it is you never really grew up past that stage of wanting to pick on others because you couldn't understand why they liked things or did things. Um, which brings me on to my next topic, which Jax, you can go back in just one moment if you want. Which brings me on to
Yeah.
my next topic, kids and how people never really mature. I had a best friend in the fourth grade. Her name was Scarlett. I don't talk of her much because it pains me to this day to talk about her. She was 8 years old when she jumped off of a building roof and took her own life because of kids, because of other kids our age bullying her, because they couldn't understand why she was different. Scarlett had long blonde hair, and her left eye was a dark brown, and her right eye was a deep, like, oceany blue. And they were one of my most favorite things about her. She had heterochromatic eyes. But we were in fourth grade and people did not understand that people can be different. And because of that, she was bullied heavily for it. And one day, the child that was bullying her had learned um, the phrase kill yourself. And because of that, she eventually ended up learning what it meant. And I don't know where her family is now. I don't know where they've moved. I don't know how many times they've moved. All I remember is that spring break she hugged me and told me bye for the last time. And that was the last I saw her. The next time I had even heard of her, I had seen her mother in Walmart and asked her where she was because her and her mother were inseparable. And her mother had to bend down and explain the concept of death to an 8-year-old. And that people can indeed take their own lives, and death doesn't just come by old age or sickness. And that was the day I found out that my best friend had taken her own life because of the words of others. And so that is why I believe that sometimes people don't even mature past that. They don't mature past that state of not understanding things, so they decide to make fun of others. And it is selfish. I personally, I try not to hate or resent people. I try to fill my heart with as much love as I possibly can. But I truly resent those who want to hate others and bully others simply because they cannot understand why that person is different. Because I lost someone who I loved because of people like that. And it really does ruin people's lives because it left such a huge impact. Scarlett would be 16 this year. In exactly 6 days, she would have turned 16. But instead, she has been dead for almost 8 years. And I have to move on knowing that she'll forever be 8 years old while I am aging. And it just makes me wonder why people want to have so much hate in their heart because it really does hurt others, which is just terrible. Especially when someone can stoop so low to bully others for what they like, especially if it's just simply a person who creates videos on the internet. Like me, I love creating content. I try my best to create relatable and fun, lighthearted content, but also be a safe place because I knew growing up that I wanted a safe place and I wanted someone to relate to. And so I try to be that person that I always wanted to find on YouTube. And it just, if I ever had someone, one of my fans or one of my watchers, get bullied because they simply liked my content because my content is seen as weird or uninteresting, it would break my heart because the phrase sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt me means absolutely nothing. It was a phrase created by parents who just simply did not want to deal with, their kids getting bullied by mean words. But words do hurt. Words hurt a lot, and words honestly hurt more than what any physical pain you could ever go through because you think about those words. You think about them and they sit in your head and you constantly go over them over and over and over again and you remember what people say. I could give you about 3 sentences that I've had people say to me years ago that I remember to this day. I am 16 years old and I can remember something that I was told at 4 that really stuck with me. Words can hurt, actions can hurt, everything can hurt. And I just don't understand why people would want to sit there and purposely hurt others for the benefit of themselves because that is just most selfish thing I can do. Like anyone could do. Do you want to add anything, Jax?
Um, I'm not really sure what to add.
I mean, you can add
Just,
anything.
it's just, uh, I hate, life as it is right now. But um I just have I have a belief that people can change for the better if they could just actually try. I've dealt with those kinds of problems before, and I hoped I changed, actually. It it's a little hard, but you know, you can start to see why you really needed it.
Hmm. Something else that I want to add is with friends and losing friends. That is something I want everyone, I cannot stress enough. Please always check on your friends, check on those that you care about, and make sure that they're doing okay. Because you really never truly know when you're ever going to lose them. I'm going to go back to quarantine.
Okay.
Jax, you may remember this, but a long, long time ago, really, really long time ago, me and Jax used to date back in quarantine. And Jax got the more mentally unstable side of me. My mental health was constantly just on the edge. I hated my life. I hated how I lived. I hated myself, how I looked, how I sounded, how I spoke, how I laughed. And it was really difficult because I realized early in on the relationship that Jax had to watch all of that go down. And he had to sit there and be a rock that I could lean on because I truly had no one else but him and maybe one more friend. And knowing that, not only is it mentally draining to be in such a terrible mental state, but it is also mentally draining to be that person that that person has to lean on. It is mentally draining to be that rock, and it is mentally draining to want to have to constantly be there for that person to put their problems on your shoulders so that they can be okay again. And that's really mainly what happened between me and Jackson, why we continue to stay friends today. Because I put him through so much and I could not bear to see him have to put himself on the line just to make sure I was okay. And just cannot stress enough to always check on your friends because I was that friend that people worried about constantly, where if I didn't answer for a couple hours without telling them that I was about to go to sleep, they really thought that they had lost me. I was that friend that was constantly up and down on mood swings because my mental state was just so terrible. And I am lucky that I had my friends to be there with me and for me because despite the fact that, yes, my mental state is still very low, I am obviously in a much better environment. I am living in a house that I'm happy in. I have my cat, and I'm living in an environment where I am loved and heard and cared for. I have food every day, and I went from wondering when the next time I was going to eat was to now every night I wonder what's going to be for dinner because it's always something fun or always something new. I wake up and I don't feel scared anymore. And that's something that is still a shock to me because when you come out of a life where, and by the way, this is nowhere near me bragging, this is me saying that no matter if my life is good now, I can always relate to those who feared their own homes because before this house, before where I live now, every morning I woke up and was scared of what was going to happen. If I heard a loud noise, I hid my phone in fear that my grandfather would come running in and take it. If I heard arguing or even the slightest raise in voice or tone, I would hide and lock my doors. And I memorized everyone's footsteps. I wondered when my next meal was going to be, and sometimes I couldn't even shower because I was a 12, 13, and 14-year old taking care of four adults. I cleaned up after everyone in my house. I did everyone's dishes and was seen nothing more as but an object that was used for cleaning. And because of that, it greatly affected my mental health. I relied on nothing but my cat and my dog and my friends around me, and my friends had to watch me go through that. They had to watch me sit in the same outfit for 4 days on end with my hair growing constantly messier and messier because my mental health was just so down the drain. I couldn't take care of myself in the little ways that I already could. They watched as my room slowly become more cluttered to the point where I couldn't move because that's where I lived was my room. The only time I left was to go to school or use the bathroom. They watched as I dwelled in my room constantly and relied on their support. And it's those friends that I hold close. For instance, Ultra, Doggo, and Jax, and Harrow, and Zach. Those four are four people that I've met during quarantine. And they are one of the only reasons why sometimes I had enough strength to wake up and continue to keep going. If it wasn't for them, I probably would not have been able to push myself to continue going, meaning one day I would never have came to this house. I wouldn't have opened up to my aunt in that nail salon one day and given myself the opportunity to move into a house where I was happier. Now I'm healthier and I shower every day. I can brush my hair every day despite the fact that it's very short. But I still hold all those friends dear because they saw me at my lowest. They met me when I was at my absolute lowest and continue to support me even after I got out of that situation. Despite the fact that even though me and Jack seem close, we have had several falling outs where we went no contact for months because my mental state was just so low and both of us just really could not get along because I didn't understand things and I was one of those people that got angry easily. And so because of that, me and Jax had several falling outs and could not speak to each other. But I feel as if that is what brought us closer because in the end we still worked things out. I just found out my great grandmother has COVID.
Interesting.
Yeah. But quarantine was a tough year for everyone. Everyone's mental states went down the drain. Everyone just suffered greatly. And it's crucial that you check on your friends and you make sure they are okay. It is crucial that you always be there for those that you care about. Because I realized that my friends were all I had. I'm in a home where I can actually be happy, and I know that everyone else will get their happy ending just like I did. I know everyone else one day will finally get that moment where they want to just kind of lay down and smile. I went from resenting those who had mothers and resenting those who could live happy lives to I can see the beauty in life again. When I look out the window, I don't wish that I didn't exist. Instead, I can smile when I see people running to their dogs or hugging their mothers and fathers. instead of resenting them because I didn't have that. If it is not known to anyone, my mother died when I was 3 years old from cancer, and I never really truly got to meet her. But I went from being jealous of those who had happy lives to being someone with a life like that and realizing that life truly is beautiful. I went from dark colors and just simply being down all the time to I love bright colors and I'm always trying to be happy and laughing. But not everyone, just because they seem okay on the outside, means they're okay on the inside. Because yet again, as I was trying to say, despite this happy life that I live where I am healthy and happy, my mental state is completely down the drain again because you never truly recover from a terrible mental state the way I did. Um, my mental state gets in the way of things like relationships and friendships. In fact, I just had to end a relationship that I was very happy in. I just had to end a relationship where I was happy and I felt loved and I was heard and seen and I was cared for. I had to end a relationship to protect that other person because I did not want them to hate me the way that someone else had hated me when I let myself get the way I did. Because the last time my mental state got as low as it did, now I ended a lot of relationships and friendships without even realizing I was doing harm to those that I loved and held dear. And so I had to let go of something that I never wanted to let go of. And I know that now I can't have that back. I wouldn't even go back to it because my mental state is something that constantly fluctuates, meaning it will come back. And I don't want to risk that person being hurt because of me. So I know that I will continue to have to be friends with this person, but I would never be able to do a relationship with them again because I don't want to hurt them. And that is something that is a reality. Despite the fact that with my viewers, I try to be happy and cheerful and tell everyone it's going to be okay. I myself, being human, I know that sometimes it's all right to not be okay. It's okay to want to lay down in your bed and just cry because you don't understand why life has to be the way it is. It's okay to just not understand things. It's okay to want to just cry just because you want to cry. It's okay to not be okay. And it took me a lot of time to realize this. It took me a lot of fighting and courage to be able to come to terms with the words that I am putting out. It took me a lot of time to find the words I am putting out. This is things that I have thought of for years. So many losses and fights and arguments and just all time down lows. It has taken me so long to finally figure out who I am as a person and finally figure out that the words I am saying are true and that I am loved and I am cared for and that people like me no matter how insecure I'm going to be, no matter how much I overthink, people do like me and I am not as annoying as I think. And this is not only me just affirming it to myself, but this is me telling other people who won't think the same thing. This is a message to anyone who feels this way. You are not annoying. You are not obnoxious. People like you. People care for you, and you have those that love you. Keep going for them because they are the ones in the end who will be there for you forever, no matter how hard it gets. They are your real friends. And no matter how much you think it, you are beautiful, handsome, attractive, whatever you go with your pronouns with, whatever you want to think. You are perfect just the way you are. Don't ever change for anyone. Be yourself because yourself is what people like. They don't like it when you hide. And that is going out to anyone who needs to hear it, anyone who needs those words to be said. People love you. Do you want to add anything, Jax?
Uh, no, I'm not really sure what to add.
You can just talk about things that you feel like need to be addressed if you want.
Um, your beliefs, right? So you can have your own beliefs. It's fine. And I have I'm in the Deltarune community. Like I love it. All right. I waited so long for back in the day when Chapter 2 was announced. On that day, I waited a long time for it to release so I can get it and play it and have fun with it. Because I enjoy the game a lot and it does bring me back to when I was back in my Deltarune phase. I don't know. But it's all alongside that is people who have the same interests, which is in a community. Um, and of course, in a community like a and as a game like this, there's always people that are, theorizing, talking about it and what they think will happen next. Uh, but you should definitely never let anyone else choose how you see it. I've had something like this happen. Um, I have a friend who also has a friend in a Discord, right? And they had people, talking in general, so I joined, and then I don't know, we were talking, and then I guess got brought up, and then I started talking about it because, you know, um, I really want to talk about it. It's really good. And then they start theorizing some things, and I was really interested in it. It's really interesting to know this sort of thing. And every time, sometimes there's some people that believe that Undertale is somehow connected to Deltarune. I can kind of see how and why, just a little bit. I don't sometimes see why. And and sometimes I gotta correct them. I could say, actually, it's not a sequel or a prequel at all. And then um one of them, I'm not gonna name any names, all right? Even though they're not gonna see this. Uh they kind of shunned my own belief and decided to just give out evidence on why.
Hey, Jack. I'll be right back. Okay, you continue talking.
All right. So they shunned my belief and kind of like brought out some things that were the reason why they were connected, which is okay with me because I could I could argue about it because I don't know. It's just nice, having to talk to someone else who knows a lot about the game as well as much as I do. And but the thing is, hearing about it too often and hearing and like getting my own beliefs just brought down literally in front of my face. Something about it just doesn't feel good. I don't like it. And it's if it just happens kind of too often, like I don't really want to be in the fandom anymore. It's great and all, but I just don't like having my own beliefs kind of like shunned and just brought down. I guess it's I guess it's like I don't know. I just like having my own beliefs on like what happens in it. And but sometimes they can be like slightly like aggro with it. It I don't know. So I just don't talk about it at all towards them. I don't talk about it to anybody. And I mean sometimes I do, but it's only because like they're not them, you know? They're not the people that I'm talking about right now. So, I, I'm trying my best to not get too into detail because I'm not really into the I'm not sure if I can really cover them all.
That's
But
fine.
I I truly believe that you should have your own beliefs, all right? You can't let someone else just choose what you need to view it as, all right? Uh, but yeah, I prefer not to talk about it sometimes towards other people. I just don't want to, have it happen again. I'm still in the community. I like it still. I just don't want to experience it again at all. Because I don't want to leave it, all right? I don't want to leave the community. It's really nice. I love it. I really don't want to leave it.
I mean, that's honestly completely understandable because, yet again, you should never let anyone control what you like and what you want to be in. But I think I'm pretty much done with this. Is gonna be a very short episode. I'm pretty much done with what I want to put through and put across. So
Yeah. I'll just add one thing about the person. I just I don't like being around them in general, even if they're my friend's friend. I don't care, all right? I don't want to I just I don't really feel comfortable around them. They're just way too offensive. I don't really care if they're joking or not or if they're kidding or if they don't actually mean it. It doesn't change the fact that they've said what they said. It's way too offensive for me. I can't. I really can't. I don't
that
know what it is.
that actually
Anyway,
reminds me of
yeah.
something that I want to put out. I am best
Okay.
friends with someone that I have known since middle school. Met him in the eighth grade, and he is one of my closest friends. He will not be saying this until a lot later, but me and him dated briefly, but we ended up breaking up because me and him did not agree on something. But now me and him are close
Yeah.
again. He's been hanging out. He actually came to town a couple weeks ago, and after my breakup, he went to the fair with me that happened to be in my town and sat in the rain while I waited on my ride. He sat with me in the rain while I waited on someone to come pick me up and stayed with me the entire time. So I wasn't alone. And he is one of the closest friends I could ever ask for, one of the best friends I could ever ask for. But not every one of my friends likes him. In fact, none of my friends actually like him because his humor is different. The way he's different from what people want and expect. His humor is things that, people don't understand because a lot of it, you know, really not a lot of people understand. And because of that, a lot of my friends don't like him. They don't want to be around when I'm near him. They don't want to call me when I'm near him, anything like that. And it hurts because I want them to like him. But at the same time, I can't force who they like. But that will never mean that I will ever
Yeah.
give up my friendship with him because he is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
And that is just saying something. Because, no matter who likes them or dislikes them, you truly do care for someone, or if you truly are friends with someone, you do not care what other people's opinions are on them. All that matters is that you're their friend and they're your friend and that you're there for each other. But anyways, that's all I have to put out. Do you have anything else, Jax?
No, that's
All right,
all I
well,
got.
I'm gonna go ahead and end my side.
Yeah.
Thank you, anyone who came to join. Um, Thank you all for listening and understanding. Remember that we too are real people, and these are our problems, and we are putting these out here in hopes that maybe, just maybe, people can relate to us
Hmm.
and know that they too are not alone and that they are loved and cared for. Remember that once these are posted, you are fully capable of,
Bullying me.
no,
Yeah.
you are fully allowed to and capable of commenting on our posts and sharing your own stories. We will respond and we'll definitely respond. We'll be open. Um I will put my Discord in the description of my life for anyone who wants to, for anyone at all who wants to text me. My DMs are open. My Discord was just added to the description. So my DMs are open for anyone who wants to just simply come and talk, vent anything. Thank you all for joining us. Remember to stay safe. Please wash your hands because my great grandmother just got COVID, so that is still happening. Please wash your hands and stay safe and always be kind to others because you never know what other people are going through.
Hmm.
Other than that, everyone have an amazing day slash night slash evening wherever you are. Bye.